Okay. So see this, friends, in Python, you have got the concept of having general functions, just a function by itself, which is not possible in Java. If you have worked on Java, that's not possible in Java. Even if you want to create a global function in Java, you have no choice but to create a class. And within that class, you will be creating a function that will be public static function. So you will say the name of the class dot the name of the function, and it executes. Or else from Java 1.8 onwards, they allow you to create static functions in an interface. So you create an interface, and within that you create public static, whatever the function name is. And then again, the name of the interface dot the name of the function, you can execute it from anywhere you want. That's how you create global functions in Java. As far as Node.js is concerned, again, you can create global function just by itself. Just make sure that that function that is written in any .ts file or a .js file is exported using export. So when you say export default function, or you say export function, whatever the name of the function is, that function can be used from anywhere in the entire application. Again, that's a global function. You don't need to actually create a class explicitly in Node based application in order to create a global function. Likewise in Python also. So those who have worked with Node, those who have worked with JavaScript, TypeScript, in Next.js and React.js, you will find while working in Python, you will find yourself at home. You will not really feel that you are working on something very different. You will be able to use the knowledge that you have already gained there in Node.js or in Next.js here. I keep on saying next node, next node. Actually, the application that we built on top of Next.js. But then, of course, we know very well Next.js is actually a node-based, library. So here you have the concept of classes as well as global functions. What does that mean? I can very well go ahead and write a function wherever I want in my entire application. I can just simply go ahead and write a function. For example, I've got core, and within that I've got auth, and within that, say for example, if I wanted to create a function here, I'll say demo.py, and then here I can very well go ahead and create a function. See this, I'll say def, and then I can just give the name of the function. Now here I say def demo, and then when I say pass, okay, here, there you open and close bracket, here you do not open and close bracket. But if I just leave the function as it is, it will give me compilation error. Can you see this? There is a compilation error here. So I have to, at least if I want to leave the function blank, I'll have to say pass, and then that's it. You don't need to have a semicolon towards the end of the function. You don't need to have a semicolon towards the end of the, towards the end of the statement. I don't need to put a semicolon here. Though if I put, it doesn't harm, but it's better that you don't put. That's not the convention. But if okay, that's how it is. As same as this. Now from anywhere in the entire application, I just have to import this function from this module. Okay, here, what is a module? In case of Java, you create a new module within a POM file or within a Gradle, within a POM-based application or within a Gradle-based application. You create a new folder and that becomes a module, and that is included in the Gradle as a module, or maybe POM.xml file as a module. And within that, you've got a number of classes. But here, you can just simply have a .py file. That py file itself is a module, and within this you can have n number of functions. I've got demo here. I can also have demo2 here. I've got functions as simple as this, demo3, as simple as this. And I can just simply import demo2, demo3 from this, So I'll say from demo.py import so and so. There we say import statement first, right? There we say import statement. In Java, we say import. Here you say from and the name of the module import so and so. But I don't need to worry about such a thing also. So for example, if I go to apps, and if I am here in common and I am say, I'll say contacts, and then suppose API, wherever, suppose I am here. And if I wanted to make a call from this function, if I wanted to make a call to demo, you see this, I said demo. And you know very well, I'm a big fan of, using the IntelliJ, auto import and stuff and all. See this demo. You can see this, it has automatically imported from so-and-so module, import so-and-so function. So now I'm making so it is as simple as this. It is as simple as this. And you will learn a lot of things. You will learn all of these things as you proceed further. You will learn. So this is one thing. Otherwise, so in the same module, I can keep on defining a lot of things. Hello.
सर बीच में डिस्टर्ब करना माफी चाहूंगा।
बोलिए बोलिए, टेल
वो
मी।
इंपोर्ट के बाद अगर आप डेमो 2 नहीं करेंगे, स्टार लगाएंगे, तो ये पूरी फाइल का इनहेरिट कर सकते हैं वहां पर।
Correct.
इम्प्लीस।
Exactly. Exactly. You can very well do that. But then when you use Command Shift O and when you optimize it, you will see for yourself. So for example, if I am using demo and demo 2 only, and if I'm not using demo 3, it does
जी।
not really make sense to use star over there at all.
ठीक।
You always use specifically only and only those particular elements that you want to import from a particular. You are very right. If it's a star, it will import everything. But then given a module in Python, there are so many things written in one single module. If you import everything, acha, by the way, when it finally interprets the code before execution, it does the optimization automatically and ends up actually importing behind the scenes only those elements that you have used. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो सब इंपोर्ट कर लेता है. And import is just the reference. So it's a good practice that you specify explicitly the elements that you are functions of the classes that you are importing. ठीक है?
ठीक सर।
Okay. And then you also have a class out here. You can very well create a class. Now, see, there are so many classes that we have already created out here. You can see this in the core itself. For example, here in middleware itself, you can see this class out here. So you just have to say class and the name of the class. That's it. And then colon again. You don't open bracket and close bracket here. So I'll say class and then I'll give the name of the class as I'll say demo class. Here, the naming convention is that you must specify the name of the class starting with an uppercase as in case of Java. In case of Node also, you create the classes, starting with the uppercase. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. करूँ ट्रांसफर? नहीं नहीं नहीं, उनको बोलो 15% देते हैं वो डिस्काउंट, दो उसको फोन दो. दो उसको फोन दो ना, मैं हमेशा लेता हूँ, उसको फोन दो, उसको फोन दो. हाँ. हेलो. आप कौन बोल रहे हो? निर्मल, मैं 50 बार आप लोगों से ले चुका हूँ. कितनी बार मैं ले चुका हूँ? लास्ट टाइम आप मेरा बिल देखो, वहां पे 4400 का है. आप लोग ऐसे नहीं कर सकते एक. हाँ. बराबर. बराबर है. तो 4700 क्या बोल रहे फिर मेरे? हाँ ठीक है, मेरे क्यूआर कोड भेजो और उनको दे दो, मैं भी ट्रांसफर कर रहा हूँ. Yeah, I'm sorry about it. So, is the recording still going on? Yeah, it's going on. Yeah, so the demo class out here. Now, there is one more thing that I wanted to share with you all. यहाँ पे see there is a concept of constructor as in case of constructor in Node.js also and there in Java also. In case of Node.js, you create a constructor using exactly, the constructor stuff there. And it has got its own constructor. In Java, you create the name of the function as same as the name of the class, it becomes a constructor. But here you define a function like this init, self. This self self is as good as thi as this in Java. That's it. Very simple stuff. Okay. And then here, this is the constructor. Whenever I create an object of this class, this constructor will be executed. Simple. Automatically. These are all reserved words. All that starts with underscore underscore, they are known as dunder functions. Repeat, what are they known as? Dunner or dunder. अच्छा हाँ, यहाँ पे see this is how you create you know documentation here. Dunder functions. See, dunder functions. So these are the functions. Anything that starts with underscore and ends with underscore are known as dunder functions. And these are the functions which are kind of reserved names in Python. Right? You will learn more things about this. Even I will learn along with you all a lot of things. But then these are the functions which so this is the function that will be automatically executed. You don't have to invoke this function explicitly. So whenever you create an object of this class, this function will be executed by this is a constructor. This is a dunder function, but this is a dunder which what kind of a function? Constructor. I'm sure, I have really spent good amount of time and effort in explaining all of these things. In Java, you also do have something called toString function. ToString is a function that is available in the object class itself. You can always override it. Here also you can say def underscore underscore str underscore underscore. right? And self. Now, whatever I write over here, I will be returning the value from here. I'll say demo class or whatever I give here. Now, whenever I print an object of demo class, it will be automatically converted to string. And whenever there is an automatic conversion happening to string of an object of this class, it will return demo class. This is as good as a dot, to str. Similarly, you can have to string in Java __ str over here. Then again, you put a function log __ dict dictionary, which will dictionary, right? Like this. Now, whatever you return back from here, if at all you are saying to dictionary, then this is how, or you convert it to a dictionary. This is, this is the function that will be executed. So that's how it is. These are the classes. This is how you create a class. And then you can create functions in this class. Now, one thing very important, how do you declare properties? How do you declare attributes in the class? So if it was Java, you create a class, and then within the class itself, you declare the attributes in the class. You say private int ID, private string name, and so on. Here, you don't have to do it. Do not forget that this, as in case of TypeScript also, in case of TypeScript, this is also a weakly typed language. JavaScript is a weakly typed language. This is also a weakly typed language. That means you can on the fly declare variables. So what you can do here is that self refers to this thi as this. So I'm saying that self dot, I'll say underscore, and I'll say underscore, and I'll say, I'll say ID, for example. हेलो, क्या हुआ शबीर भाई? दिए?
भेजा है भाई आपको, देखो ना, उन्होंने भेजा है।
अच्छा, हाँ, ठीक है, ठीक है, हाँ, मिल गया, अब भी पेमेंट कर रहा हूँ 4462 बराबर। ठीक है, एक सेकेंड फ्रेंड्स। Is equal to, I'll say 24, for example. This is what it is. Now this underscore is just the naming convention. It does not guarantee. There is no such thing in Python that this will automatically make it private. It is just an indication that this is supposed to be not used out of the class. If you try to use it, it will allow. I repeat, if you try to use this from out of the class, it will allow. So just an indication. This is called mangling. That's what the term that is used, name mangling. So you mangle the names in such a way, and you have certain conventions followed. If say underscore ID, and if someone else is creating an object of this class, some other team member, he knows that the one who has created this class and the one who has declared this in the class, he intends that this is not supposed to be used out of the class. Right? That's how it is. So I'll say self.__ ID, and then whenever in any one of these functions, if I want to use it, I can very well use that. So suppose if I have a function called def, I'll say display. Okay, here the naming convention is of underscores, not uppercases, not camel's case, unlike Java. So if I've got to say display details, there in Java, I'll say display details like this. But here I'll say display underscore details like this. Okay, and here you are. Now the self, you will find that self is automatically there if it is not a static method. The self needs to be passed, needs to be accepted as a parameter. But when I create an object of this class, and when I invoke the method, I don't have to say self. I don't have to pass anything like self. So see this, I'll show you. I've got display underscore details and I say self. Now if I wanted to print that value of self.id, I'll say, print, and in brackets, I'll say, I can very well say self, the value of ID is, now I am using the power of this IDE, IntelliJ IDE. I'll say self dot underscore ID. Okay. Now you see this is not going to work. Why? Because I need to put F. Okay, it did not work. I think I'm missing the hotkey or whatever. It would have automatically put F here otherwise. But any case, when I say F, it will automatically parse the string. Parsing will happen. In case of, when you work with React.js and Angular kind of frameworks, there you have got tilde and then you have got dollar and the opening brace bracket, and then you end it with closing brace bracket and the tilde. So everything between that will be passed here. This will be the value of ID and this will be passed. The value of self.id will be replaced. Now, when I create an object of this class, suppose from demo 2, I wanted to create an object of this class, it's a weakly typed language. I just need to say demo 2 is equal to, and I say demo class here like this, or I'll say demo is equal to demo class here like this. That's it. This constructor will automatically execute and the value of this will be initialized. And now when I say demo dot display underscore details, I don't have to pass self or anything. Of course, how will I pass? I just have to invoke the method. This self will be automatically available here. And you can make use of it. What does self mean? Self means THIS this. So if you have initialized any variables out here, all of those variables will be available throughout the methods. Few last, of things. This is very important. Now, if I do not properly indent the code in Python, it will give compilation error. This will not work. There are compilation errors. See this. So indentation is very important, and indentation is not just important, it is very significant. It's very critical. Otherwise, things will not compile. And that's how it understands the opening and closing bracket. So it is just that you don't have to open and close bracket, but you've got to indent the code properly. So this is how it is. If I want to give an if statement, I'll say if, and I'll say self dot underscore underscore ID is equal to 25. I'll give a semicolon out here and I'll put it over here. If I put it over here, it will be considered as a part of the function itself, not as a part of if. And then if I have, some statement here, I say print and the value of this, and then print, and then whatever it is. So both of these statements are within the safe. But the moment I put something like this, that means this statement is, मैं चलो करता हूँ, मैं कॉल पे हूँ नहीं मैं आता हूँ मैं बंद करता हूँ. Okay, this will be considered as a path of that function. I have to just go for 2 minutes. I'll be back just a minute. Okay, so you're getting this? Similarly, you will learn for loop, while loop, and all that stuff. You will learn on your own. So these are the few things that I wanted to bring to your notice so that it becomes easier for you to see the code. Now, coming back over here, so this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Classes I've talked about, constructors I've talked about, inheritance, very simple stuff. How do you inherit? Now, for example, I've got a demo class. If I wanted to create a class that is demo class 2, okay, so I'll say I'll say class demo class 2 in brackets, I'll say demo class. That's how inheritance extends from. हो गया ये. अब यहाँ पे inheritance is very, very powerful. We will learn along as we proceed further writing the code. That's very powerful. Okay, one important thing. If at all you are writing some code, okay, demo underscore I'll say function. If I'm writing some code out here, def demo underscore function, if this is the function that I'm writing, okay, this is the function that I'm writing. Now suppose here in this function, I'm not making use of self. I repeat, all with me? All there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If I'm not making the use of self, if I'm not making use of self at all, that means, note my words very carefully, that means I am not writing any code out here that works on the instance of, in other words, works on the object of this class. मैं जब ऑब्जेक्ट की प्रॉपर्टी ही यूज नहीं कर रहा हूं, या फिर यहां से सेल्फ डॉट इफ आई एम नॉट मेकिंग अ कॉल टू एनी अदर फंक्शन ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ द क्लास. In other words, if I'm not making use of the object of this class, that means this function is not supposed to be object based. It will be a static method. I must be able to invoke this function on the name of the class directly. So I will not say self, and I will write some code out here, right? And then some code, sorry. So I don't need this. And I'll write, hey, sorry, of course I need that. But I'll remove self And then here, see, it's giving me an error. I'll say @static method, no errors. But of course, if I don't say static method, then it will say self dalo. You got to put self. Method must have first parameter, usually self. But then if I say it's a static method, I'm annotating with static method. I'm okay. Here it's known as a decorator, not an annotation, one and the same thing, but I'll say decorator. So if I use this decorator, what does that mean? I can just simply say demo class dot, and I say demo function. If at all I want to use, suppose over here, if I want to use an instance, suppose say underscore ID. So I'll say self dot underscore ID is equal to 24. See, it's giving me an error. Why is it giving me an error? Because self is not passed as a parameter. If self is not passed as a parameter, why? Because I thought it was a static method. But then if I say, no, I need self here. What does this mean? If you need self here, that means this is supposed to be an instance method. If it is an instance method, it is not a static method. Now this is fine. Or maybe if you wanted to say self dot and you say display details, then also you will need self, because you're making a call to the object of, you're making a call to the method of the class. So usually the naming convention is like this. When you have a global function, not in the class, it's called a function. Am I loud and clear?
Yes.
If it's a global function, we call it a function. But if at all it's a method within the class, if it's a function within the class, we call it a method. And if that method in the class does not deal with the object of the class, then we call it a static method. Then I'll remove self, and of course, then I cannot use self. Many places you will find we have used static method. I will show you many places we have used. See this. Tell me, what is this? Contact is what? It's a class. See, if it is in uppercase, it is a class. See here the documentation. आंखें खुली रखो, मंद बुद्धि मत बनो. Right? आंखें खुली रखो, सब पढ़ो, देखो, move the mouse pointer. ये आगे चल गए. नहीं. What is this? Oh, it's a class. Okay, contact. Okay, what it is extending from? Base document. Okay, it is extending from base document. What is the documentation? This is the documentation. देखो, पढ़ो, then you will become expert. I'm sorry. Yeah. हाँ, चलो, I'll come.
You wind up, it's fine.
हाँ, just wait for a few minutes.
Okay, it's
Okay. In the meanwhile, install that app on her
her phone, na?
phone. And teach her.
Yeah.
Okay. So contact is a class. Now tell me objects. When I say contact.objects, am I creating an object of contact? No. I am using a function called, sorry, not a function, a method. What method? Object method or static method? What do you think? Objects is a method, static method, or an object method? I'm using it directly on the class. Bolo.
Object method.
Object method.
Yes, object method. I'm using it directly on the class.
Oh, static.
Static method, na? If I do something like this, if I say C is equal to, and I say new contact here like this, and here, sorry, Java. When I say C dot something over here, then it's an object method. When I say C dot whatever, if there is something out here, let me check. Okay. Now, what is this method? Tell me. What is this? This is a static method or an object method on contact?
Object method.
This is object method. If you use directly on the class, it's a static method. अभी बताया मैंने आप लोगों को. See? Clear? Any doubts? So I hope.
आपने C dot objects किया होता तो वो object नहीं कहलाता.
Okay. C is equal to, I'll say contact. Okay. And then C dot
Objects.
now objects you mean to say here like this?
वो जो नीचे क्या है ना वैसे है वो ऊपर.
ये as it is.
जी
हाँ ठीक है. This is what you're saying.
यस
Now listen to this. This is universal, whether it is Java or it is TypeScript or it is Scala or it is whatever programming language it is. If there is a static method on the class, you can use it on the class as well as on the object. Clear है?
जी
Vice versa is not true. So when there is a method which is a static method that means supposed to be used on the class, you can still use it on the object. But if there is an object method, you can use it only on the object. You cannot use it on the class. Simple. It's actually common sense. So far so good. I'll explain that then further. So here also, objects happens to be a static method only. Just that you have unnecessarily created an object and invoked the method on it. Unnecessarily you have created the object of contact. उसका ये object का बनाने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी. You have done it unnecessarily. You could have done it like this. Without creating an object, you could have done it. Because all that is done in the objects method has got nothing to do with the particular object of contact class. You want me to repeat?
नो got it.
So it will not, as such, your programmatically, it will still proceed further. चलेगा, काम हो जाएगा. But it was unnecessary. Okay, so let me now explain this like this. Oh, I'm in demo. So if at all I say demo, which happens to be the object of demo class, I can say demo.demo function. Chalega. It doesn't give me any error. Demo class.demo function also works. Demo.demo function. Again, this is universal in Java as well as in Python, Scala, whatever programming language. It's because it's common sense. It works. No compilation error. But if I have a method which is display details, which is not a static method, but an object method, if you try to invoke it on the class, how will it know which object must be used? ये जो self होगा, किसका self होगा? Self of which object? Because you are not specifying the object. You are saying demo class dot, you say आएगा ही नहीं list में, but still deliberately I'll put this. See this? It will not work, no? It will give me a compilation error. Sorry. Then also, see. But it's giving me an error. Can you see this here? It's giving me an error. Parameter self unfilled, it says. And how will you pass parameter here? You cannot pass a parameter here at all. Why? Because this is a class and you are trying to invoke a method on this. This is weird. And what this method happens to be, what is it? A static method? No, it is an object method. What does that mean? You will always be able to invoke it on. Now there is no error. Can you see that? See, I'll once again use this. And you can see the message here. Parameter self is unfilled. You will not be able to pass self. Na? Yes, self. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Self hai nahi yahan pe. The value of self comes from where? The value of self comes from demo.display details. Now you see when you're invoking it on the object, demo is an object of demo class. No error at all. It doesn't tell you that it's unfilled. Why? Because the self is referencing which object?
Demo object.
Hope we are all on the same page.
Yes, sir.
So this is not. So I hope that answers your question that, contact, we could have created an object, but it was unnecessary.
Okay.
So this is also unnecessary. This is just perfect. Okay, good. So we have talked about inheritance, simple. Methods with self, I've talked about that. These methods with self and static methods also, we have just talked about it. Self and self. That's it. And you will see that the color of such methods are very different. What does this mean? These are all like, kind of helper methods and they are automatically invoked under certain circumstances. Otherwise, these are the fundamentals, these are the basic things as far as class is concerned. Now see the objects created in settings. Now you know what the general and global functions that are there here. General and global functions. See the objects created in settings. We have created many things out here. For example, take a look. Such a fantastic language. Actually, fantastic ka sawal nahi hai. The thing is that Well, it's a different language altogether. So you see this now. As you can see here, there is something called Mongo client is equal to none. Actually, इसका भी जरूरत नहीं था. There was no need of doing this. But defining it as a none. Even if I within try catch, try block also, if I say Mongo client, it will work. That means this Mongo client is now globally available. Mongo client is globally available in the entire application. So in base.py, you see this is the Mongo, URI. And what are we doing over here? We're creating an object of Mongo client. This is as same as, my dear friends, what we have done here in mongo.ts. Mongo.ts, MongoDB service.ts. You see this, we create a new Mongo client. यहाँ पे भी Mongo client है, come on. ये रहा Mongo client, see. Here also it's Mongo client. So Mongo client is actually the name of the class that we have from which library. See this PyMongo synchronous.mongo client.mongo client. This is cool. And this Mongo client, if you put os.getEnv, MongoDB URI, default MongoDB URL. Now what am I doing over here? os.get environment. This will get the environment variable. So that when I put it in production, I will set the environmental variable and I will set the string of the production database so that I don't have to share that production database everywhere. In short, otherwise it will pick this up. If it is not there, then this is the default value that it will pick up, and this is the value of the string of the dev database. SSL is equal to true and stuff and all, and then server info connect, and then if it is connected successfully, it will reach here, or else it will result into an exception. So this is how try catch is written in Python. Try colon whatever you want to write, except whatever the exception you want to catch as whatever the name of the variable you want to put, and then print raise. Raise मतलब क्या? यहाँ से भी you want to throw an exception. This raise is as good as what? Throw. Throw. You are again from here also you are throwing an exception. If you do not throw an exception from here, then whatever you have written printf, it will just print. Your choice. You want to throw back, up the stack, or you don't want to throw. So there are many such. You will find a lot of configuration over here which you don't need to really look at. Friends, I'll tell you what, I'm very serious about this. All of y'all, those who are there in the call, y'all are supposed to participate in the project. Your focus must be on the project. Trust me, my dear friends, you will automatically learn a lot of things, and the source code is anyways with you. But if you keep your priority to learn, not benefit the project, then I'm sorry, from here onwards, we are project specific. Business is important. Your learning will automatically follow. It's a side effect that will automatically happen. But if you think that let me study all the code that is written, ये क्यों है, वो क्यों है, ऐसा क्यों है, वैसा क्यों है, why this and why that, and only then I will start writing code, please leave the project. Do something else. We will train you still. But here the focus is, I'm very serious about it now. We do not have choice. I want to really make this company very profitable. So focus must be on the project. Just focus on the task that is given to you. Currently, I'm doing this session for you so that at least you can get started. The fundamentals are clear. Am I crystal clear to you all? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Good. Excellent. Sabash. So this is what it is. Development.py is yet another. And here you can see right at the top, we are importing the base.py. That means all the properties, everything that is there in base is all imported here. Right. And here, it will never complain. Python will never complain. If I have something like this written, x is equal to 25. And then the moment I write x is equal to, once again, if I write 35, it will not complain. But what will be the value of x? 35.
35.
Yeah. Because we are not defining at all. We're not saying int or anything. We're not doing that. This is how you can define the data type if at all you want to define the data type. Okay. And then from the functions also, so here you are, demo here. If I want to define that this particular function will always return a value, then in that case, this is the arrow function that you're going to use, not a function, but just an arrow. And I say int. What does this mean? This will return an int. So I'll say return and I say 5. This works. Then I don't need pass. Here you are. That means I'm returning. So an arrow like this, and I say, this is what I'm returning. If at all it is taking a value, then I'll say str colon, I'll say name colon str. So this is the string. But you don't have to define str unless you want to be, type specific, that the value that is passed to the parameter demo must be str. Then it's a different thing. Otherwise, Otherwise, you don't need to really define the data type automatically. It will take it. But if you have to define the data type, then colon and whatever the data type is. Unlike Java, you say string and then something. Here you say something colon string. That's how you define the data type. Simple. Okay, so I've talked about this. Now, model classes. What is it? What are model classes? Model classes are the classes that represents the collection in the database. We are working with MongoDB, hence I'm saying collection in the database. If it was an RDBMS, I would have said table in the database. But here you've got C common. Now there is no reason to keep A0 underscore common. This is my personal, I want common to be right on the top. And that is the reason why I have kept A0. There is no reason whatsoever, Python specific or any damn reason to keep A0 underscore. My personal choice. I'm keeping it A0 underscore common. And then here you've got a folder called models. It's a package actually. And wherever within the folder, if you've got init.py, it's actually the package. It's a Python package. Now within that, you will see base.py has got a base document, and you will see contact.py. Similarly, we will create user.py. Similarly, all the collections, if we have got 30 collections, we will have 30.py files. Each one of those files will have the definition of one single class that represents a collection in the database. So contact, for example, take a look. Here it is. It starts from here. Class contact. It extends from base document. In base document, I have defined some common things over here. In the base document, I have defined some common things. But this is the contact. Underscore ID, it must be an object field. Whatever are the IDs, it must be object field. Then all of these are the different fields of that class. Now, how will I create this? अच्छा उसके ऊपर मैं बाद में आऊंगा. I will come to that later. How will I create this? I will not hand code all of this. Otherwise, you will make mistakes. If you give last name, first name like this, it will not copy the value of first name into this. And then you keep wondering, oh, my first name ka value is not coming. Where is the error? Hello, please don't do that. I'll teach you all how to make sure that you don't make any mistakes. We're going to use Claude.ai. Okay, so this is how it is. All of these are the fields. And you defined the data type of the fields using like this. You don't say colon str or something. These are special types. And this fields actually comes from where? This fields comes from here. You can see this Django Mongo engine import fields, comma embedded document. Now, if we have got the concept of nested documents, that means document within a document. You've got that concept, isn't it? MongoDB database. I'm going a bit fast because I'm anyways, recording this. You can always refer to this. So here you see app dev, and then here you see this. We have got contacts, and contacts are the collection. And you see this here, I've got phone numbers here. And some of the collections out here, just not the phone numbers, but then I've got quite a few other nested documents as well. Chalo, theek hai, phone numbers out here. There are other fields also, but don't worry about that. Phone numbers, here you are, WhatsApp, and then, whatever it is. So this is a nested document. So how would you represent this over here? This is how you will represent. You'll say, can you see these phone numbers out here? You'll say fields dot, it is an embedded document list of fields. So embedded document list field. List field. List of which phone number? Where is this phone number? This phone number is defined again as a class out here. उसके अंदर fields कौन सा है? Phone type, phone number, opt-in. यहाँ पे मिलेगा phone number, phone type, and opt-in. As simple as this. So this becomes a typed collection. I repeat, a typed list rather. I would say this becomes a typed list. That means the data type is specified and the data type happens to be phone. Blank is equal to true. That means it is possible that the value of this is not there in the database collection. It's okay, no problem. Default is equal to, it's a list. It's by default, it's a list. Null is equal to true. It can be null value as well. Last communication, for example, last communication, again, the same thing. It's a list of, embedded document. Here you are. Same stuff here. Embedded document field list. Getting it, friends? If it's a Boolean value, then Boolean field. If it's a date value, then date time field. Everything is covered here. Everything is covered here. Okay. Here meta specifies what will be the name of the collection in the database exactly, In the database collection का नाम क्या है? Contacts है, तो वो आपको यहाँ पे डाल रहा है. Strict colon false. It means that don't be strict. If at all there is any field, in the collection which is not over here, ignore it. That's what strict is colon false. If I say true, then in that case, if there is a field here but not defined here, it will throw an exception. Rather, let me say it will raise an exception. Let's use when in Rome, do what the Romans do. Talk the language of Romans. So here I will not say throw an exception, I will say raise an exception. This is again the default, underscore dictionary, underscore dictionary. So in some cases, when I want to convert the object of this class to a dictionary, this is what it will return. The value of email will be returned, first name, last name, full name, and only these values of only these properties will be returned. So here it is the same thing, friends. You can see contact. All of these are public, variables that I'm defining. Isn't it? Anywhere I can very well say the object of the contact dot email dot business ID dot first name and so on. Okay, here you are. Two token dictionaries. Again, I needed this function and hence I created it. Underscore str is two string function. Wherever I say print and the object contact, it will first name, last name, and email will be printed in this format. First name, space, last name, space, email. This is the contact class. Similarly, I have got the user class as well. I've got the user class as well. Getting it, friends? I've got the message template as well. This is the name of the collection. I've got the contact filter as well. This is the name of the collection. But it's underscore, 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 underscore. Any doubts, any questions, friends? Okay. So model class is what I want to talk about, and then repository classes. Now see this few things that I've written over here. The naming convention must be followed. Take a look at this contact. This is your ready reckoner. This contacts is the service that I've spent good amount of time. I have done a lot of refinement in this. And finally, I have arrived at the convention and the way to write a service. So here, end-to-end contacts service, which has the API, the DAL layer, as well as the services. So please make sure that you do not violate any of the naming conventions. If you have got any apprehension, you can see things over here, how we have done it. So take a look at this repository. DAL layer, all your repositories will be in the DAL layer. This is the package that you will create always. So within case studies also, we will have what? We will have API, we will have DAL, we will have services. Within guides, what we will have? DAL, services, API. Within profiles, what we will have? DAL, services, API, and so on. So here within the DAL, you see this contact finder repository. I've got mutations repository. What I have done here is that for the sake of ease and for the sake of, dividing the work among our team members, I've got finder as well as I've got mutation. Mutation is the repository through which we will be creating, updating, and deleting. Finder will have exclusively all of those methods which will be just getting the data from the database. Finders, mutations. Finders, mutation. Do not violate the naming convention. In fact, initially, I will be creating these py files. I will be creating the function. You are supposed to write the content of the function. You are supposed to actually implement the function. But none of you will write even a single function till the time I do not have the confidence on you that you can design your own functions. You can design your own modules. So here you see this contact finder repository. In that I've got static methods because I don't have any instance variables here at all. It's just that, I've created a class. I could have created this as global functions also, but then I wanted to put it into, structure it properly. All of these functions are supposed to be structured properly. Hence, I have put it in a class. So static method, get all contacts, one liner contact.objects.all gives you all. It's like find all. In case of your Next.js, what do? You say db.collection, and then you say dot find in brackets empty square empty this.
Yes, empty curly braces.
This is objects.find. All. Abhi actually kahan se aa raha hai? This contact is the class that we created. On that contact class, please note on the contact class, I'll say control click, not command click, control click. On the contact class, please see, do I have anything like objects out here? You see this? Sorry, यहाँ पे इसी class के अंदर, I'll go back over here. You will see there is nothing like objects over here. Bit हम call कर रहे हैं. बस coming in few minutes. Okay, see, I don't have objects here. Where is this objects coming from? Contact is inherited from base document. यहाँ पे भी there is nothing like objects. यहाँ पे you have got these functions: delete by ID, delete by IDs, and patch and update and save. These are the methods. Sorry, not functions, not methods. Where is that method coming from? Document, because this is inherited from document. And here you will find, perhaps here or even maybe in the super class of this class, here it is. Can you see this objects? Colon any is equal to, it is an object of, objects is actually an object of query set manager, whatever. But then here you are. It is declared in Django flavor. Why? Because this document in turn, you see this, it is inheriting from Django flavor. Comma something. Oh, there is a concept of mixin over here. Please repeat. 3 people must repeat. Mixin. Bolo.
Mixin.
Mixins. This is some advanced concept of multiple inheritance, which I will not be able to comment on at this moment. I will have to see once before I comment on it or train you all on it. Leave it. As of now, it's not really very important for our project. But of course, knowledge-wise, it's important. We will come to it. We will cross the bridge when we reach it. When we need mixins, I'll give you a good POC for that. But then otherwise, so this objects is actually coming from there. So I just have to say contact.objects dot say all. All is the function return to you. So all is finally implemented in query set manager. If I'm not mistaken, it is implemented wherever. Chalo jane. So here you are and here content.get. What is this get? Getting by a particular field. Here, when I say, whenever you want to get the value based on the ID, you will say underscore ID and you'll use get function. But if you want to, find the data based on some other fields, you will say filter, not get, you will say filter. Business ID is not the part of the ID, it's not the identifier. Na? Contact ka business ID is just another field, so I'll use a filter. Here you can see this contact objects, email is equal to email. Okay, this is also one of the ways. Okay, we'll have to find out what is the difference between filter and this way of doing it. Dekho. Can you see there is a difference? Why cannot I use directly, you're like this? Why can't? And what is the benefit of using a filter and what is the, so I'm sorry. I will find out and let you know. So this returns to you. Got it. Got it. This returns an optional, or this returns rather an object. No, not an optional. It returns exactly the object, one single object. Objects, no. No. It doesn't.
First address match करते
Honey, first is okay, but then if I just say contacts, then what does it return? Objects, what it returns? Objects of so and so. What it returns back to me. Acha, it returns a query set manager, and from the first, I'll have to check. But one thing is for sure, filter will return a list. Here, I'm sure that it is going to return one object. नहीं, sure नहीं है. Sure नहीं है. अगर sure होता तो dot first नहीं होता. है ना? चलो वो देख लेंगे. बल्कि आप लोग मुझे बताना. You all must tell me, you all must teach me what is the difference between filter and object, and make sure that when you teach me, you don't phekam phak nahi karna till the time you are not. I also don't do it. When I don't know something, I tell you that I don't know something. I'll have to check it out, but I don't bluff. So make sure that you do not, try to topi penao me. Okay, unless you are very crystal clear what is the difference, don't come back to me. Otherwise, let's proceed. But you must know the difference because this is something that we will be using million times. You must know the difference. Okay, now here you have got by query, and this is the query, like, whatever is the query that I'll be passing as a parameter, it will automatically, take that as a query and then, and do it. Achha, so filter takes a query actually. Filter takes a query. Objects will return all the objects based on the condition. So I think if I have a complex condition, then in that case, it is supposed to be a filter. Anyways, chalo. So this is what it is. This is what you need to study. And then what I've done here is that I'll go back again to repository out here. You will see that I am using filter objects. Yeah, here in this mutation, you will see that I am using there are some functions that I have implemented in base. These are the functions that we have implemented. See, patch, for example. This is the function that we have implemented. Delete by ID. These are the common functions that will be applicable not only to contact, but all the all the model classes that will inherit from base document. So all the models will inherit from what? Come on. Will inherit from base document.
Base.
And all of them will have this methods: patch, delete by ID, delete by IDs, update, save. All of these methods will be automatically available on those. Now, class method is also like a static method, but there is a difference between class method and static method with respect to inheritance. I repeat, class method and static methods are the same thing as far as, the way you invoke is concerned. You will have the name of the class and the name of the method. But there is a difference in between the two when it comes to inheritance. You can see that all on your own. And currently, I'm not ready with the perfect statements to explain. Hence, I will explain later, or you figure it out all on your own. But these are the class methods. So I'll give the name of the class dot update. Name of the class dot update. So आप यहाँ पर देखोगे, यहाँ पे you will see I have, update subscription name of the. See this contact dot delete by IDs. This is the super class ka delete by IDs. So now any collection, when I create any model that inherits from that, I can delete the objects of that collection passing the multiple IDs as a parameter. I can patch also. So common functions. 10 बार भी मुझे करना हो तो I don't have to write, n number of lines of code. मैंने common लिखा है वहां पे. So आपको इसको study करना है. Don't worry, things will fall in place. Again, knowing all of this, you know what is to be used where, but otherwise, it's almost all done. So what is the kind of code that you will be writing in repositories? The database related code. You will never write any database related code in services. All your business logic will go in services. For example, forget about this, upload छोड़ देना. But finder and mutation है, ये देखो. Mutation, for example, take a look. See, this is the business logic. See, this is the business logic. This will not be written over there. Right? This is the business logic which will never be written there. All your business logic is supposed to be here. And you will never write database logic in services. Data यहाँ पे service class को पता भी नहीं होना चाहिए whether it is MongoDB or something else that is being used. Finally, you have got views and URLs. We will talk about that later, or else my family will kick me. Yeah. Under API package, you will be having these views, contact views. Right? I will explain this also. Very simple. This is for that Swagger documentation, API documentation. I have kept this commented, keep it commented, because if I want to specify that if this is the condition, what will be the response? If this is a condition, then we can very well do that. इसलिए इसको ऐसे ही रहने देना. Requires roles, I will explain that later. Very simple stuff. List and stuff and all, I'll explain later. This is how you create APIs. Getting it? So you all have access to this. Pull the code. Do not make any changes. Dare push anything. Please do not push anything. Do not commit. Do not push anything. Just simply go through the source code. We will get started. I will start giving the task to you all tomorrow. Okay? Gotta go. Yes, friends. Start doing R&D.